Hogwarts School of Witchcraft, Wizardry, and Marxism. I am Comrade Headmaster Albus Dumbledore. Before we commence tonight's modest feast, I have some announcements to make. The Forbidden Forest is now a labor camp. The Weasley-off twins are digging ditches for counter-revolutionary humor. All invisibility cloaks are now state property and will be deployed by the magical KGB for your safety and surveillance. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Professor Snapevich will be administering Veritaserum to any students exhibiting signs of independent thinking or ideological deviation. Quidditch has been restructured. There is no snitch. Everyone is a chaser. Victory is collective or not at all. The Chamber of Secrets does not exist. Anyone claiming otherwise will be imprisoned and re-educated. The House Point system has been permanently abolished. Competition breeds inequality, and inequality breeds counter-revolution. From now on, all students shall receive equal points, regardless of effort or merit. Additionally, the 4 Hogwarts houses have been dissolved. Henceforth, all students belong to a single, glorious collective. And don't forget, each morning will begin with the mandatory 2 minutes of hate against the enemy of magical equality, Lord Voldemort. Magical Marxist theory is mandatory. Attendance will be monitored. Absence is treason. And as for you, Potteroff, for the crime of independent thought, you are hereby sentenced to 5 years of hard labor in the Gulag of Secrets.
Wow.
We couldn't decide which one to do, so we did both. And I'm glad we did, because there's a theme there. Everybody pretending to be the world ends up turning everything into a communist crap hole. So, welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Tri-F Podcast, where we try not to have the podcast stuff. How are you today, Trevor?
I'm good. Those videos made me laugh.
I really liked that Harry Potter one. That made me smile.
Where did you get that?
It was just on YouTube. By the way, Darpy, was that little elf's name? Darpy was thrown in there because that was the people's sock. You know, he kept stealing the people's sock. Soviet...
Dobby.
Dobby, yeah, whatever. I'm not a Potter fan, can you tell? Oh, well, it's all right.
You're not on Pottermore?
I'm not on Pottermore? No, it's a gulag, didn't you know?
Oh.
Anyway, so... what in the blasted world is this? Sorry, I'm fixing Windows. Okay, so... tonight we got kind of a wild show. I'm trying to decide what to talk about first because it's been weird, Trevor. It was weird. You want to know why it was weird?
I know why it was weird, but why was it weird?
Because we got ratioed last week.
What does that mean?
It means we had more likes than dislikes on the video, and we got a lot of angry comments.
What?
Yes, can you believe it? We're making all sorts of friends.
Yes.
Let's see, how many people have we made mad tonight? So let's see, we've made the Brandon Biggs crowd, some of the Brandon Biggs people mad, some of the Mike Winger people mad, some of the Billy Carson people mad, some of the Amon Hillman people mad, and apparently we've also ticked off the Tartaria people.
So our random video on Tartaria?
Yes, I was hoping Greg would be here so he could account for his sins. But apparently not. Apparently not. And I'm personally a little irritated, Trevor, because, you know, I remember me and Jeremiah, we had that debate. You know, we spent weeks prepping for the debate. And I worked hard on that debate, Dad blame it.
Research and
this
stuff.
room, it looked like an Office Depot. There were sticky notes all over the place. Bible verses, church fathers, the whole 9 yards. 23 people watched those 2 debates. 46 total. Weeks of work, Trevor. Weeks. And then 46 people watch it. And then we do some random video about Tartaria, the Wyoming of ancient history. 600 plus views and we get ratioed.
That's YouTube.
I don't understand the internet at all. But what are you going to do? I guess people like Tartaria, so we'll talk about Tartaria.
We're going to do another Tartaria
Well, we have to.
video.
The people have spoken, and they've called us idiots, so we have to do it again.
Oh, I can't wait.
Right? But that's not what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about something else completely different. So, let's see. I got to remember what we're talking about. Okay, so we have to continue our little series on NDEs. So we did
NDEs.
hell the first week. Near-death experiences. So we did hell the first week. And then we did,
How near were
we
they?
did heaven the next week. And then we were going to do something kind of in between pagan, like another culture this week. And
Okay.
then we were going to do a general overview on week 4. All right, so we're going to do your NDE video.
Sweet.
And then we're going to do a review of H.G. Wells' Things to Come, which is why we had the communist stuff on here, because H.G. Wells was a vile communist.
Now it makes sense.
I'm sorry. He was a Fabian socialist, but in English it means communist. But yeah, they all
Let's get politically correct.
yeah, right. But they say they find a million different ways to call themselves something else, but they just mean communist. It's, hey, that's my stuff. That's their entire ideology, and it comes in a million flavors. But anyway, H.G. Wells is one of these weird technocratic authoritarian types, and he really expressed himself in the movie Things to Come. And we're going to watch it, or at least pieces of it, and I'm going to do a brief review on it. And so we'll talk about that. And then, let's see, I titled it Voodoo Dolls, but that's not technically correct. Apparently, they've got a very special name.
Lububu. They're Lububu.
The LaBuff-Boo, LaBoo-Boo.
Lububu.
That just sounds ridiculous. That doesn't sound sinister at all.
They actually have an off-brand. It's called Lafufu.
So this is a name brand voodoo doll. Am I hearing that? A name brand voodoo doll. So it's not just any voodoo doll. It's Labubu dolls from Hasbro.
If you want to call it that, yeah.
So Hasbro has a new type of voodoo doll.
Wait.
No?
I don't think it's Hasbro.
I'm being stupid, Trevor. Of course it's not Hasbro. It's Play School.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, no. So we got voodoo dolls. We're going to talk about voodoo dolls spreading all over the place. And then lastly, Bella Ramsey apparently got in trouble with the internet for saying it, something. So we're going to talk. I thought since this came out, this was an event that happened today, I thought it would be a good time to discuss The Last of Us.
Something topical.
Yeah, something topical. The Last of Us series as a whole, particularly Season 2, because I did a review series on Season 1 for Mind Matters News. And I hated Season 1. And so I didn't watch Season 2 because I already knew what was going to happen. Spoiler alert, somebody dies. But anyway, so we'll talk a little bit about just The Last of Us Season 1 and 2, but also The Last of Us just kind of conceptually.
Wasn't that a game?
Conceptually. Yes, it was a video game. It's two video games.
So they turned it into a show as well?
Yes. Not my favorite media. We'll just keep it that way. Not my favorite media.
Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So for now, we're going to get started with NDEs. So Trevor, do you want to lead us into who this gal is and what are we watching here?
So this girl's name is Erica.
Okay.
And she was hiking on a trail all by herself, and she had a misstep and fell down the hill. And that's just the first 7 minutes. So if you want to skip to right about 7 minutes.
Well, this is a bad shot right here. I sang this to you right before the show. I was like, do you want to build a star seed? Anyway, like this is gonna get trippy. I can tell. So we're going to 7 minutes.
It might.
All right.
Yeah, 7 minutes is where she starts
Okay, here
talking
we go.
about. She was down there for 7 hours, and right about here is where she talks about what she went through during those 7 hours.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's see how this goes.
And yeah, it's just seeing really clearly. There was also a detachment from, a loving detachment from my family and friends, because I recognized.
Okay, pause. We're 30 seconds in here. I already tell we're getting semantic bullcrap. Loving detachment. What kind of special hippie talk is that? Like right away, 2 seconds in. I haven't watched this before, by the way. This is my first reaction to this video. Loving detachment. I lovingly don't give a crap about you, Trevor. With love.
Well, that's very lovingly of you.
Yeah. What kind of weird... We're going to get some Orwellian doublespeak, aren't we? Oh, my
No.
goodness. Here we go.
I don't even know what that means.
It means happy hate. It means
Oh.
happy hate. War is peace. Hatred is friendship. Big Brother is always watching. It's Orwell. It's an Orwell. Anyway, okay.
But Big Brother is always
I
watching.
know it. And
I have something that we could listen. Well, we'll probably in a later
okay,
video.
well, anyway, let's keep going on here. I just wanted to point out the loving talk that the terminology just
Moment that
bad
really
omen.
We're actually all one thing, and we're all gonna actually be with each other again, and that it's okay. They're just asleep to it right now. They're just not aware of that right now, and in this dimension. But as soon as they die, they'll see clearly as well. So there was almost like this, yeah, this acceptance and detachment that was still loving, but yeah. The life review, and then came the experience.
We're really honing in on that loving detachment thing.
Oh, yeah, she's a very loving person.
She did a life review, so we missed some of this. Apparently, that is a common thing in these NDEs. They do life reviews. That's like a trope that happens quite a bit.
When you
Right.
pass out after something traumatic happens to your body, your whole life flashes before your eyes.
Well, it's like a judgment. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you're showing your good deeds and your bad deeds. Like, that's a common thing that pops up. All right, and apparently she felt a loving detachment while this life review was happening. I would consider that not a good thing, like a loving detachment
Why
during
not?
your life review. It's kind of like, I'm attached to you, but I'm not too attached to you. I've seen your life. So
Yeah, well,
I'm like,
she
might be
was-
bad news, girl.
She was an atheist before she had this accident.
What is she
so-
now?
I don't remember. She talks about it.
Okay. Well, we'll keep going.
Of the white light that many people speak about, and I saw this energy. I guess some people call it God, consciousness, like source.
But I don't.
You know, it was
God.
everything, and I learned a lot from
Yeah.
this.
I saw God. Some people call him God, but I ain't there yet. That's what I heard.
I'm just going to call him, like,
Yeah, I'm gonna call him the light, like the ultimate database thing. He's like the grand binary. So
was that a dad joke? The ultimate dad base?
moving on.
Light. It was almost like it was downloaded into my cells, like a lot of understandings. And it was hard because it wasn't so much an intellectual understanding with the mind. It was like a full body felt experience of oneness, and how in the dimension of the earth that we're experiencing, everything
I'm sorry
is
to keep interrupting, but it's just like red flag after red flag after red flag. Do you remember last week when we were listening to the guy who said he saw the angels? You remember him talking about the weird detachment from the body? Now, we
Yeah.
honed in on that because that's actually a common thing that shows up in NDEs. Like, there's this detachment from the body. That's a common theme. She's not talking like that. She's talking about, I had this thing in my cells. Like, in her own story, she is still kind of connected to her body. Did you catch
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of going, okay, well, that's different from the other stories we've listened to so far because that detachment's a big deal. It's like, oh, I'm not my body. I'm something else. But she's not saying that.
Oh, I gotcha.
Just food for thought. Just food for thought. So there's no separation component. So that's different from the other stories we've heard.
separate and hard and physical, but ultimately it's all this white light that's being projected into different frequencies, and And we just, when we get here, we just forget that. We just forget that we're actually just this one thing. But a lot about what this dimension is doing is like it's a school, and it's like it's teaching us to remember that innate oneness and that innate like inner light. And we really learn through experiences, and especially through suffering. And so, yeah, a ton of information downloaded into my system. And then there was almost a joint decision between myself and what I would call God, consciousness, source, to come back into the body to, yeah, continue this life and like come back into alignment with what I'm actually here for. And so I came back.
I'm having a hard time believing her, Trevor. What do you think?
Why?
She's licking her lips a lot. She's looking around a lot. I mean, I'm not a body language expert. I don't know. But
Well,
I'm
looking around,
catching,
she's trying to remember what happened.
or she's trying to figure out how to sell it. One of the two. I mean, okay, it's everybody, each their own opinion, but I'm catching things we haven't heard before in other accounts. I'm catching those little ticks of anxiety, and all of it kind of coming together is making me go, I don't know.
Well, maybe she's just an anxious person.
Yeah, it could be. She could just be anxious. But if she's just anxious, why do you think she's not explaining why is she not articulating the disassociation thing like the others? At least the other guy has done. 'Cause that was a big deal to the other guy. But that was also kind of a common theme with the, really all of them. Let's see, how many? She's 4, isn't she? She's 3 or 4. I think she might be 3.
That we've done?
The other, okay, I think it's actually 3.
I think it's 3.
So the other 2 made a big deal about being disconnected from the body and how jarring that was. We haven't heard anything about that. And her analogies are still like, oh, it was like in my cells and all this. Like that's not typical with what, and frankly, I mean, obviously I've done other research outside of the 2 videos we've watched. That's not typical. So
yeah, there was one I came across. The guy was talking about he had 3 NDEs and 1 accident. And that one, we might look at that one next
3
time.
NDEs in 1 accident. So like he kept
Well,
dying and waking up and dying. Is that the semi-truck driver? Because
no,
the last guy, he was like, oh, I'm going to go to heaven. Ow, I'm going to go back to my body. Ow, my body hurts. I want to go back to heaven. And he did that like 3 times.
Oh, that might be
that's the guy we watched last time. Because the girl was praying for him, trying to get him to come back. And so God was like letting him go back to his body. But then every time he got back in his body, it hurt. So he'd like try to leave. And then it was just like a tug-of-war type of deal. And we had a hard time believing him. But then he stood up and showed his scar, and it was like, yeah, you did have a truck fall on you. That is a thing that happened. So he showed some proof. Anyway, so she is talking about the light, how it flooded her cells, even though she's not
or source
or source. Is she saying the light is God in this, or is she?
Yes.
Okay, so to her, the light is God. It is the source. So we're all star seeds.
Into the body.
You got a problem with being a star seed?
And this is
I don't know. I don't know exactly what a star seed is, but I hear hippies say it, so I thought it was funny.
Maybe we'll have to do an episode on just star seeds.
Star seeds, yeah. Okay, all right. What are those? I think those are actually alien kids. Isn't that what they're supposed to be? Like, in all seriousness?
I don't know. I'd have to do research on it.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, so we're just going to listen to this girl. Let's keep going.
Profound experience for me was like the moment that I came into my body, took a deep breath, I opened my eyes, and then this firefighter who was off duty. Like he was not working that day, but he was listening to the phone call with the police looking for me. He had just an intuition, like a gut feeling that he
Oh
knew where
yeah.
I was. And so he
Like, pause
did.
it real
Yeah,
quick.
what's up?
Something I forgot to mention. When right before she passed out, she was able to get her phone out and call 911.
Okay, so
So that's what she's
well,
talking about
okay.
here.
Well, before we go on, how about you explain what happened? Because we did jump right in the middle here. So,
Yeah,
how
no,
did she? How did she die? Like, what was the story leading up to this light encounter?
Yeah, she was walking on this trail that she had walked in on lots of times before, and she had a misstep and fell off of a cliff. And it says there on the thing description it was 60 feet. And before she passed out, she was able to get her phone out and call 911.
Okay.
So we jumped into it right after she passed out.
Okay, so she passes out. She wakes up on the in the tunnel, I guess, and she is spent this entire time, so far as I can tell, describing
With this out of body
describing the light. She said she had a life review, but we haven't heard any particulars with the life review. Did she talk about the life review in the first 7 minutes of the video?
No.
Okay, so she says she said she had a life review, but she's not discussed any details about the life review. Is that correct?
No, I believe so at this point. I don't.
Have you watched the whole thing?
I watched it all the way up to like I didn't watch the last 3 minutes. I think.
Okay, but up until the last 3 minutes, she had not discussed the life review.
I think she discusses some of it. Yeah. Somewhere.
What does she say about it?
I don't recall. I have to listen to the whole thing again.
Okay, well, I find it very odd that she's mentioned the life review, because we've spent 3 minutes talking about light and loving detachment, whatever that is, but she hasn't went over the life review. Now, in a lot of these NDEs, the life review is typically one of the bigger experiences in the whole thing. In most of these accounts, see, because what it usually is you've fallen short here, you haven't done this right, you haven't done that right, I'm sending you back to give you another chance. That's typically how this goes. And it's kind of a degrading part of the procedure, and so I find it a little suspect that she hasn't had that, if you know what I mean. So it's like
now that you're talking about all that, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't think she actually does get into that aspect.
Well, remember in the first week, I said one of the things that you've got to watch for is people trying to sell their ideology through their supernatural experiences. You remember me talking? And how it was really suspicious about the guy wanting to establish his doctrine.
You're on to that on this one.
Yeah, because she's trying to describe God through her vision.
Gotcha.
You seeing what I'm cooking up here?
So I have been misled, basically.
Well, I mean, we're not prophets. She could have went through the real thing. We don't know. But from like a probability standpoint, I would say she's probably full of crap. And she's wanting to spin a yarn about God being the source and we need our crystal frequencies and star seeds and whatnot. That's what I'm thinking. She's going to be some sort of messenger, and we're not going to hear about her vile sins that made her realize she's a bad person, and so the Almighty sent her back to give her another chance. We're not going to get anything like that. We're going to get a description
of the firefighter.
Well, she might describe the firefighter. I hadn't thought about that. You think, what, is this
She
her
was
love story with the firefighter?
You talk. I don't think anything happened.
Okay, so this isn't a love story. So the firefighter like befriends her. Then is she going to go into a lot of detail about the firefighter when she should be talking about the details regarding the NDE?
It's only like a minute that she talks about.
Okay, so then never mind. So I don't know why we're bringing him up then. So my thing is, she's probably going to spout about her ideology and her thoughts about God, and she is going to use her vision as a justification for it, just like the guy the first week did.
Oh,
That's
okay.
my guess. You've seen this. I haven't seen it. You've seen it. Am I in the ballpark?
You are in
Okay.
the ballpark. Now that you're calling it out, it's like, oh, he's right.
Yeah. Yeah, they all do it. All right, we'll give it a few more minutes, but yeah, we'll see it. We'll just watch long enough to confirm if my intuition's right here. We're going to learn about her definition of God and loving detachment.
The hike. And so that moment that I woke up and decided to come back in my body and like took a deep breath, like his little head popped over the cliff and screamed down, Erica. And yeah, and then he saved my life. Army boats came down the Hudson and took me on a boat and then to the hospital. And yeah, I was there for a month in the hospital.
Can I point something else out? You remember
Pizza.
Yes. Do you remember the last week when the guy was recounting the story? Now, that last week was the guy we actually believed. I found him to be very compelling. But if you recall, when he was telling that story, you could see him reliving the emotions as he told it. You watched him regress as he was recounting the story.
Yeah.
She has not done that. She has stayed in a whimsical.
Smiled the whole
She
time.
stayed in a whimsical state this entire time. It's like the near-death experience was wonderful. There's no waking up going, I was in so much pain because my legs were broken and I wanted to die again. There's nothing like that. It's, then the firefighter saved me and we rode down the Hudson and it was so wonderful and magical. I don't believe this lady.
Oh.
All right, we'll keep going on. I'm sorry. I'm probably talking too much.
I was in inpatient, like physical rehabilitation for another month, and then in a wheelchair and bedridden for 6 months at home. And through that process, I was really moving through a massive spiritual awakening because my spirit, my soul was like so purified and awakened with it through this experience, but I was coming back into a body that was highly traumatized and wounded. And yeah, so that integration process did take about that long, like almost a year to fully integrate all of the insights. And I'm still integrating today, of course. Like haven't fully embodied everything that I learned.
It's so hard to get through this. I'm trying. I'm trying to keep my mouth
We can
shut.
move on to your
I'm
H.G.
trying to
Wells
keep my
thing.
mouth shut. No, because she hasn't confirmed my theory yet, and if I'm wrong, I want to make sure I'm wrong.
Oh.
But it's just hard for me to not keep talking. So I'm just like, there was a hint where I thought, okay, well, maybe she went through something because it was like, yeah, but I was still in my body. You kind of see her tighten up a little bit. It's like she's recounting something, but she's not going to go into that. So it makes me wonder if she did go through some kind of trauma because you saw the mask slip just a little bit a second ago.
Oh, yeah.
So because she's got a smile stapled to her face and this entire time, and it drops a little bit when she starts mentioning the trauma. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe she did go through something. And so I'm like, maybe she's just incredibly passive. You know what I mean?
She might be one of those people that just smile when they're super uncomfortable.
Yeah, like the too much smiling could be anxiety. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. The freaking Orwellian verbiage is complete bullcrap, though. Like, that's always indicative of a lie. Like, I'm still embodying my experience.
It's a spiritual, man.
It's like that is such a hippie way of saying I don't know what the heck happened. So, yeah.
I'm starting to take it you don't like hippies.
No, I don't like the doublespeak. I don't like the flowery language that's kind of that's vague and meant not to go into detail and to kind of, it's like these broad general terms that are like, because it's like, okay, I'm thinking All right, you said you almost died because you fell 60 feet. What happened? Were your legs broken? Were you in a wheelchair? What did you go through? What kind of recovery process did you have to go through? How long did you like?
Well,
I
she
want
said
the
she was in a
specifics.
wheelchair for 6 months.
When did she say that? Did I miss
Like-
it? Was I too busy criticizing her to
20
listen to it?
Like 20 seconds ago.
Oh, I must
before
have not heard it.
paused it
Okay, so she was in a wheelchair.
for like 6 months. Yeah.
And she's not wanting to talk about that. Okay, all right.
Well, she just said it.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about the details. You remember, look, compare this one to last week. You remember last week how he was
I'm getting
like,
the vibes,
he was
yeah.
like, I was in so much pain and this is what I felt. And then I saw these guys and I was like, who are these people? They don't look like, why are they so buff? Were they here with the team? Like, you know, he's recounting what he saw. He's recounting what he thought as he saw it. You know, and then he like shows you the scar at the end of the thing, and he talks about how the pain was so bad he wanted to die all over again, even though that kind of made him look bad. Like there's all these like details and derogatory things that he was sharing that gave him credibility. You're not hearing any of that with her. You're hearing, I still haven't embodied my experience. That makes her less credible in my mind. Am I just being a judgmental butt?
I don't. Maybe. Yeah.
Cool. I'm not trying to be, but I'm giving my honest reaction, just first impression. What do you think?
Okay.
You think she's telling the truth?
I think she had some sort of spiritual interaction.
Okay.
But she's an atheist and she doesn't really want to, like you said,
Okay, so you're thinking
give it to God.
You're thinking that because she's so entrenched in the they're not even atheism camp because she's like I guess a hippie now, but she doesn't want to acknowledge the entire scope of the experience. So she's kind of obscuring certain details to kind of keep her narrative. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Yes.
So rather than God giving her a life review, which condemned her of her sin, which we conveniently never heard anything about, God becomes this ambiguous source of light that's like, you know, a divine, omnipresent binary code, you know. Just anything
that
just
mixed with her cells.
Yeah, that mixed with her cells, even though she wasn't in her body at the time. So she's up. So rather than her lying about the whole experience, you're thinking that she basically is obscuring details to kind of keep in line with please anything but God. Is that kind of what I'm getting from you?
Yeah, that's a good
Okay.
point. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good way to put it.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. I am cynical of her, but maybe I'm being too cynical. So, okay, we'll keep going.
But yeah, it was a big healing process. And also I noticed, you know, my awareness.
That's the first time the smiles dropped. I just want to say that.
Yeah.
So now she's getting back. She's going back to something.
I think
more
she had
sensitive.
more spiritual whatever after she started like the healing process and stuff.
I mean, that's possible. That's possible. I mean, I don't really know, but yeah. I mean, I think the dropping of the demeanor is probably actually recounting the physical stuff that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think she wants to go into detail about that. So, I mean, that could be just like, sorry to be sexist, but just, you know, because she's a girl and guys are like, man, my guts were all hanging out. It was a mess. Look at this scar. I've got like, you remember the
awesome.
smells are terrible. You see this hole here? There's a tube. Fecal matter drips out of this tube, man. It's disgusting.
Ew.
Like, that's how guys are. I don't think girls are that candid. So maybe that's
Probably
what it
not.
is.
I became really sensitive to energy, to beings like that I felt like were coming into my room.
Oh, you're right.
She's an empath.
she started having spiritual experiences right after. That's actually a consistent thing with other NDEs. Like after they have the
Really?
after they have the NDEs, they'll start having more spiritual type experiences. That's a common thing. So
Heck yeah.
So she starts having other experiences. I think the more I think about what you're saying, Trevor, the more I think you're right about her basically kind of obscuring details. I think that explains some of the tics I'm seeing and the weird general vague verbiage.
Especially during that 6-month period where I'd have experiences of, there's no windows are opened or anything, and all of a sudden there's just like gusts of wind and my fan is going and the curtains are moving and there's nothing that's creating that experience. And also,
Lady, that's a demon. All right.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Well, if you want to watch the rest of this is on the Jeff Mara podcast. The title of it is Atheist Fell 60 Feet, Crosses Over, and Met God. Near-Death Experience. Again, the title is Atheist Fell 60 Feet, Crosses Over, and Met God. Near-Death Experience. And the podcast is called Jeff Mara Podcast.
And he has a lot more on his channel
Yes.
than just this one.
All right, Trevor. So, final thoughts.
Thank you.
I didn't do nothing.
For-
I'm
Well, you helped me. Like from now on, I can actually look at because I'm not as good at picking up the social tics as you are.
well. It's
so
important to know. A, I'm full of crap. B,
we're all
yeah.
full of crap.
B, when you're looking at the social tics, like those are not indications. That's not proof that they're lying. Like, first of all, you have to watch the person in another context, like how they talk usually.
Right.
Like you have to have something to compare. Like the reason Dan Bongino and Kash Patel's stuff was so obviously lies was because we have like years of footage of them before they were lying like that to compare.
This is our first.
Yeah, so this is the first time we've seen her. So
encounter.
it's entirely possible that she's like just that's how she always is. Like we don't know. We'd have to see her in another context. But even if the licking of the lips typically is like an anxiety thing. But even if that's the case, like all it is anxiety. Like you don't know the person is lying. You just know the person is anxious, and that could be because she's in a podcast. That could be because she's like something about the memory is making them uncomfortable. The only thing I would say is definitely indicative of a lie is that Orwellian doublespeak, like detached love or whatever. And I'm still embodying my experience. Like that's bullcrap terminology. I'm obfuscating from something specific. Like that's like the only thing I would directly say. That's definitely I don't want to tell you what's happening. That kind of vague verbiage and double talk. But as far as like body cues, the smile that's inappropriate. Oh, and then I woke up and I had to heal from my wounds. It was great. That kind of discontinuity, like usually when somebody talks about healing from their wounds, they regress to the point when they were screaming bloody murder because their wounds hurt. And you see some flicker. And we saw that at like the last half of the video. You saw as she's getting out of the experience and she's going back to recovery mode, then the smile drops, then her mood, you can see it in her body, her mood kind of drops. Now she's starting to relive the trauma. That's typically what people do. But to sit there and go, and then I woke up right after she fell off the cliff and had broken her legs, that's like an incontinuity, which again, that could be anxiety. It could be that she's lying. It's just those cues, they're not proof of anything in particular. They're like little flags that make you go, okay, I need to pay a little closer attention to what this person's saying because something might not be right. It's also with that. It was the same thing with that Mike Winger video that we did.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, like that one was interesting to me because it was you almost instantly figured that guy was lying, but you couldn't exactly figure. Like for me, being so hostile to Michael Brown, I was like, how do I instantly know that the guy accusing Michael Brown is full of crap? Because it was like instant that he was not being honest. Like almost right away, if you recall, for me. And it was something of a baffling thing for me because I started the video wanting to tap dance on Michael Brown's destruction because I was being a vindictive brat. But by the end of it, I'm going, poor Dr. Michael Brown, he's getting railroaded. This is awful. You know, so why would I flip? What was it about that guy's body language? Because I hadn't heard Michael Brown's story. I had just watched that guy's story. You know? And yet I'm instantly like, this guy's lying. And I had that emotional reaction, and I was like, well, why did I think that? Which is why I showed the video to you guys, so we watched his body language, and it became pretty apparent why, as we watched it, he was essentially it looked like he was probably mad at Michael Brown over a falling out they'd had years ago, and this was an opportune way to kind of force him out. Like, it looked like there was some politics that was going on, and they wanted to force him out, and they were using this 20-year-old scandal as an attempt to do it.
Yeah, you're talking about the guy that was, like, falling out of his chair reaction?
Oh, yeah, Mr. I heard about it in Israel and fell out of my chair. It's like,
that guy?
Yeah, that guy, Mr. They met alone in the Walmart, and I fell out of my chair because I was so shocked. Yeah, Captain Israel. No, it was Captain Soul Patch. That's what we called him. Yeah. So that guy. Do you remember that conversation now?
Yeah. We had a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah, we got no views, but we had a lot of fun. So, anyway, I'm sorry, the Tartaria thing, I'm a little bitter about it. I'm like, we have done so much better work. We've done so much better work than that Tartaria video. Why that got 600 views? We've done so much better. Oh my gosh. Merit is meaningless. Merit is meaningless on the internet, Trevor.
There is no internet.
Oh, passive-aggressive jokes. Anyway. Okay. Guys, we're moving on. I'm in a mood tonight.
Part 2.
Part 2. So if you're watching this on the live stream, stay with us. But if you are watching this after the fact, guys, thank you so much for watching. And we will see you next time. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.